Well, I grew up in a very good family. I had really good parents, very conservative, good Christian values. I never really had an experience. I never understood what Jesus meant. I never understood what it meant to truly accept Him into your life, and church was just kind of, I went through the motions. By the time, I could drive or I could get friends to drive, I just decided I had enough. I didn't want to go to church because I thought Christians didn't know how to have fun. I thought they were a bunch of hypocrites. I decided to just kind of do my own thing and do everything that I wasn't allowed to do. I went out and wanted to party and I wanted to drink. When I was 18, I just turned 18, really one night, just really out of sheer boredom. I went out and robbed a gun shop, and kind of make a long story short, I was caught, I was shot, and went to jail. It was probably the lowest point of my life. It was the lowest point of my life. I really wasn't as smart as I thought I was. I really couldn't get away with anything that I wanted to. I ended up spending the next 2.5 years in prison. And it was difficult. I was thrust into an environment that I didn't know and that I didn't understand. A place where you have to fight for your respect. People don't just leave you alone. By the time I was 19, I had been in over 50 fights. It was a completely new world to me. It became very cold, very hard, very bitter. I just shut all my emotions off. And when I got out, it was very much like that. I still didn't want anything to do with God. I believed in Him, but I just didn't want anything to do with church and Christians. Probably about a year later, I just turned 22, and I knew some people who came to this church, and so I just decided, you know what, I'm going to come see some people. Thought I was bored, and so I came here, and I was sitting in the back, and Pastor Dan was preaching, and he started doing an altar call, and then I had this moment, and I heard like everything around me faded out. I couldn't even hear what Pastor Dan was talking about. I heard very clearly God speak to my heart, and He said, "This is the moment. You have to choose what you want now. You have to choose what you want for your life." I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with the emptiness. I'm done with trying to fill a void with parties or trying to fill the void with drinking. I was like, I want something real. So at that moment, I gave my heart to Christ for the first time, and I finally knew what it meant. When they say that peace that surpasses all understanding, I finally knew what it meant to feel loved, truly loved and at peace. I finally knew what it meant to have a relationship with Jesus, and it was the best moment of my life. I haven't looked back since then. God has He's done so much with my life, and I've been able to accomplish so much more than I've ever thought possible. The hurt and the anger and the bitterness that I had towards a lot of it towards myself. I had a hard time forgiving myself. It was gone. God really worked on my heart and really softened me and made, to use a cliche term, kind of made me a new creation. It was really true though, because the person that I was at 21 and the person that I was at 22 and beyond was just so much different, and it was so much a night and day experience, and it really didn't even feel like me.